Hey guys, it's Laurel, and I haven't posted a favorites video in 3 months. I'm sorry, that was never my intention. These are my favorite videos to make, and a lot of your guys' favorite videos to watch. So this might be the hardest monthly favorites video I've ever had to make. I haven't posted one in a while because my schedule was really busy, and then it stayed busy, and then I went through a breakup. And then all the favorites things that I hadn't told you guys about, they had all included my ex. And it was hard for me to say that those were things that made me happy. I was mourning. And because I was mourning, that meant that I wasn't ready to talk about these things. And so I thought about not giving you guys those 2 months of favorites. I thought about skipping them entirely. I thought about taking out the favorites that included my ex, but then they would have been very small videos. But honestly, that is not the point of my favorites videos. These are my virtual gratitude journals. And I write these things down as they're happening in my notes, in my phone, as they're making me feel grateful. And the reason I film that is so that I can look back at each month, not just now, but months from now or a year from now, and be reminded of all these great memories that I had and that I shared with you guys and that I experienced outside of social media. It's only fitting to talk about the things that once brought me joy. It's only fitting to talk about the things I was grateful for in the moment. So here we are, 3 months later, and I need to talk about the things that I enjoyed, even though they include my ex, because they weren't my ex at the time. And I want to be able to look back at this video and remember the good shit. Okay, now that that speech is over, should we just get into it? The last favorites video I posted was January and February, so now we've got to go through March, April, and May. Let's do it. I haven't looked at these since the breakup. In March of 2023, I started working out with my friend Kristen. I met Kristen through her partner Blaine, who works at Rooster Teeth, and this is the most power couple I've ever known, and I mean that literally. Okay, for Halloween, they dressed as Mr. and Mrs. Incredible for a reason. They are badass weightlifting gods and goddesses. And they hit me up and they're like, hey, I know that you've been working out. I've been working out. Let's do it together. And Kristen has been the best workout buddy I've ever had. You know, I've gone through trainers and I've gone through the experience of trying to get friends to the gym with me. I've gone through working out on my own. And what I will say is that this is the most fun version of all of that. It's been really nice to have a friend who knows what they're doing, who has a plan, and who pushes me, but not in the way a trainer does. It's almost always daily therapy too, because we just talk and the time goes by. I love working out with Kristen. I love how close we've become as friends because of working out. It's been great for my mental health. It's been great for my daily routine. And it's just been great. Next thing on my list is that I was on Always Open. We filmed this episode, I believe, in March. That's all I wrote down was Always Open. So I either filmed the episode in March or it came out in March. Caesar fact check me. But Barb asked me to be on her podcast for All Good No Worries, and it was awesome. It was me, her, and Blizz, and it was like really refreshing and cool. It was a great conversation. We talked about sex and like sex positive stuff. I love talking about sex. It is a special interest of mine, and I've done a lot of research on it. I know that sounds silly, but like there's a lot of stuff I talked about on that podcast that didn't end up making it in, just probably because I go on tangents. But what a refreshing conversation. We talked about me being neurodivergent and Blizz learning that he has ADHD and getting diagnosis. We talked about standing up to your boss. Anyway, I want to do more podcast stuff like this. Like, it brought me so much joy to just have such a laid back conversation about stuff that like matters and that needs to be talked about. We even talked about communication. That's my shit. I love talking about communication. I love communicating about communication. Anyway, it was a great time. All Good No Worries, Rooster Teeth, Barb, thank you all for having me. I had a great time. If you guys haven't watched that episode yet, I will link it in the description below. And if I happen to forget to link it in the description below, remind me in the comment section and I will get you guys that link. Also, a fun little plug about Always Open. They did end up posting a few clips of me talking on the podcast on the All Good No Worries TikTok, and one of those clips has like 3 million views. Oh my god, it has 4 million views now. For the longest time, it was the most viewed video on their TikTok. It is now the second most viewed video on their TikTok. Dang it. So close. It was cool holding that place for a while, though. Oh my gosh, this was so long ago, but it was so much fun. In March, I also played in a Neat Dude Mario Party tournament. And not only that, I was in fourth for like the whole game. I'm pretty sure I never won a single mini game. And I managed with bonus stars. God, this is so long ago. With bonus stars, I managed to win and make it to the second round of the competition. There's only 2 rounds. Yeah, that happened. I don't remember what place I got. I think I got fourth for the final round, but still, I ended up getting to the finale round by winning no mini games and just bonus stars. I spent like the first like 2 hours before the tournament stressed out and like crying because my capture card had stopped working, so I couldn't get my gameplay footage to work in the stream. But luckily we came up with a solution last minute. Everybody was super accommodating and we had so much fun. I love Mario Party. I'm hoping to get a capture card that works soon because I miss playing it on stream. I forgot I did this too. This is why I do my favorites videos. This is like a nice fun little look back. I forgot I did this. At one point, I think I made a YouTube video making a joke about how I would step on you guys for money. And then that stream, after I posted that video, you guys took me up on the offer, and I had a whole stream stepping on y'all. And that's on my favorites list. Stepping on my viewers. LOL. You guys paid me, and I sent each and every one of you a video of me stepping on my phone, so it looked like from the POV I was stepping on you. That was just really fun. I should do that again. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to do that again. In March, they were doing some classic horror movie showings at the Alamo Drafthouse, including Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Paranormal Activity. Now, I'm going to talk about that experience on another video coming up soon. I went to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre with my ex. We had a great time. It was a very interesting experience, seeing an old movie that I had already seen before. It was their first time seeing it, but I had already seen it multiple times before. But seeing it on the big screen, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I don't think I ever need to watch that movie again. For Paranormal Activity, I can't wait to talk to you guys more in depth about it in like a horror movie video, but I'll just say, amazing experience. If you ever get a chance to see that movie, whether it's the first time you've seen it or you're rewatching it, in an actual movie theater, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Next thing on my list, I was in a children's education musical called Nate the Great the Musical, which I will say it's on my favorites list because I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the paycheck. I am not grateful for what it did to my health. I got COVID again, and I have had long COVID ever since. Working with children, maybe not for me. The one thing I will say that I loved about it, though, is it was really cool to get to spend so much time with my theater friends who I was in it with. I got to get really close to a lot of my theater friends because it was a very small cast, very tight-knit group. And honestly, like, even though the process was short and stressful, it was very bittersweet. And even though the kids got me sick, I will say it did tickle me hearing them enjoy themselves, watching them from backstage. They had a great time, and that's adorable. They got me sick, though. Anyway. Oh, I also put on the list, but this is an experience from Nate the Great. For those of you who know, I had a vocal cord injury many a year ago, and it fucked with my singing a lot. And for somebody who came out of the womb singing and thought that was her whole point of life, it's been really hard understanding that my voice has just changed now. But for Nate the Great, I was cast to sing the highest notes. And there was this one note that I had to hold for a really long time that was very high during the Act 1 finale. And I just remember one of the actresses who doesn't know anything about my vocal journey turned around to me after the first time I hit it in rehearsals, and she said, "You hit that beautifully." And I almost started crying because I just have no faith in those notes anymore. And it just meant a lot, okay? I'm really fighting for my life right now, trying not to cry for this whole video. Woo! Yeah, it just proved that I'd come a long way. I'm hoping long COVID didn't ruin that progress. Also, I just want to say I've been really thriving when it comes to my style, and it feels good. Slay. Oh my God. In March, I was really struggling, like, balancing time because of Nate the Great and because I was streaming and because I had a partner. I just had a lot going on. So I was eating like shit. Like, I was not taking care of my body. So to combat that, I deleted all the delivery apps off of my phone. And it made me realize how often I was reaching for my phone just to eat and how I really would get groceries and then just leave them in my home. So this was like a good reminder, and maybe it's because of my ADHD and I needed this reminder. It was a reminder to be like, bitch, check your fridge before you reach for your phone. And that's all of March. So let's talk about April 2023. I will say in March, I deleted all of my delivery apps. In April, I brought one back. And the reason I did that was because even though I have ADHD, I also have depression. And sometimes the only thing that gets me out of bed is ordering myself a Starbucks coffee. And once it gets to the door, I'm like, fuck, I guess I gotta go grab it. And then I get out of bed and I grab my coffee and I start my day. So I re-downloaded one food delivery app probably like 2 or 3 weeks after I deleted all of them. But I would always delete it after I ordered my Starbucks. And you might think that's nuts. And maybe it is, but I like to think of it as me setting my intentions and intentionally choosing to use the app and intentionally deciding that for the rest of the day I was going to cook or take care of myself in other ways. And it was okay if I wanted fast food. I just didn't need to spend the extra money of the delivery app when I could leave the house and go buy it. And honestly, sometimes leaving the house is so much better for my mental health, even if I'm going to buy something that isn't necessarily good for my liver or my insides. You know what I mean? I do recommend this. If you are trying to spend less money or if you're trying to eat less fast food, consider not allowing yourself to buy fast food on a delivery app by either uninstalling it, just so that every time that you decide, hey, I'm going to reinstall this app, you know, you're like, hey, I'm making this decision. And it's not like a autopilot kind of thing, because I was on autopilot and I still kind of am. And I'm thinking it's time to delete the apps again. So Lori Bird was still doing the Grackle games in April. And this was when I got to do my very first drag performance ever. Lori asked me to be her duet partner for the competition she was in. And we went on stage as cows. I know you guys have already seen this. If you watched my drag makeup video, this was easily one of the best nights of my entire life. I didn't know how good performing in drag would feel for me. I didn't know how empowering it would be. I wasn't prepared for how good it felt. Not only that, but Lori won that challenge. And we were winners. And Ritzy looked at both of us and asked Lori if we could perform that number again, because she liked it so much on the spot she wanted us to do it again. And that's the reason I got to perform with Sasha Colby. I had so much fun that night. I was riding that high for like weeks afterwards, and I feel like I still kind of am. And even though sometimes I am gaslighting myself about how I shouldn't be allowed to do drag, I still have those memories to remind me that it feels so good that I shouldn't care what other people think. The next thing on my list in April that I was grateful for was telling you guys about my partner. That video is unlisted now. You can watch it if you watch the video where I tell you guys I got dumped, because it's linked in that description. But I just thought it's just not a video that I want people to stumble upon. If they're going to watch it, it'll be intentional. But that video did really well. When I told you guys that I was seeing someone, I had been nervous to do that for a very, very long time. I was worried it was going to ruin the relationship. I was worried it was going to tank my viewership. I was worried it was going to change you, the viewer, me, our relationship. And it just, none of those things happened. You guys were so respectful. You didn't bombard me with questions. You respected my boundaries. The reason that I'm still grateful this is on my gratitude list is because it is so evident to me that we have grown a community together full of people who are respectful to boundaries, people who care about each other's well-being. Like, I want to see you guys grow, and you guys clearly want to see me progress and grow as well. I was so in love. Just going to take those off preemptively. I was so in love, and it felt so good to not keep that secret from you, to not withhold what was making me so happy. This was on my gratitude journal, not just because of the way y'all reacted. I was grateful that you guys reacted so well. I was embarrassed that I didn't think it would go that well, but that is absolutely one of my biggest character flaws, is I underestimate my community and I underestimate myself all the time. Underestimate? You undermeant what I stood. But I want to be able to look back on this video years from now and remind myself, like, you were happy, and that is beautiful. And even though it didn't work out, it is better to have loved than lost, to never have loved at all. And the real thing is out there. And all of the healing that I've done, all the healing that you've done, future Laurel, it was worth it. And will continue to be worth it, because you will continue to have more and more meaningful relationships, because this was absolutely evidence of that. All right, I'll be right back. I need to fix my makeup. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm done crying. The months are flying by. Can I tell you that? 2023 is flying by. I started playing the Resident Evil 4 remake in April, and I still haven't beaten it because I got COVID. And I got too sick to play it on stream. And I'm not too sick to play it now, but it's just, it's one of those games that you have to be really engaged with. It's on my favorites list because I loved it. I was having so much fun playing it. I had no plans on stopping playing it till I got COVID. I didn't want to stream it while I was hacking up a lung, because I want to put it on YouTube eventually, which you guys have seen. The first part is on YouTube. If you guys want me to continue the series on YouTube, let me know. Long playthrough videos like that are the hardest to edit because it's just me and Caesar going back and forth, and it's a lot of footage to go through. But if you guys really like it, please let me know, because I'm only gonna make Caesar work through that if you guys really want it. But I do want to beat the game at least on stream, so we need to get back in that because it's a lot of fun. It's really hard. It's definitely the hardest Resident Evil game I've played so far, but it's very fun. Okay, I did this with my ex, so that's partially why I didn't vlog it, but I do regret not vlogging it because I got my second tattoo, which is technically my second and third tattoo. I added to my first tattoo with these little extra horror additions. I wanted to add my 2 favorite horror series to my body permanently. So I got a little ghost face and Michael Myers knife on my ankle. I love it. The knife is so cool. When she first showed me the drawing of it, I was like stunned. I was like, why am I obsessed with that? I think I have a special interest in the way that knives look. Is that a thing? I don't know. Aesthetically, knives are so pleasing to me, yet they're still one of my biggest fears. I hate holding a knife. But now that I have a knife permanently on my body, I told my tattoo artist, Jill, I literally said to her, I was like, I think I need more knives on my body. I need more. I just think they look so cool. I want a dagger, like on my thigh or something. Like I'm a little rogue hiding a dagger under my skirt. Or like I want like one like here maybe, or on my hands, like on my finger. I don't know. I want them all. Give me all the knives. I will conquer my fear by putting them permanently on my body. Anyway, I love my new tattoos. I'm obsessed with them. I love them much more than the first. The first is still so dinky in comparison to them, but I love them. I love them so much. Oh my gosh, yes. I took a last minute trip to LA in April because Brizzy, you guys know Brizzy Voices, hit me up months back. I had made a joke about how I had this Ren Fair fit that I really liked, but it felt a little too slutty for me comfortably at the time. I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable being this slutty out in public. And she made a joke to me in the comment section of my fan house saying something like, well, me and my friends are going to do Slutty Ren Fair in LA. Let me know if you want to come. And I was like, if you're inviting me, fuck yeah, I want to come. So she hits me up kind of last minute and she goes, hey, I know it's last minute, but if you can get a flight, I'll pay for your Ren Fair ticket and you can stay at my apartment and we're all going to be sluts at the fair. And I said, fuck it, I deserve a vacation. And I made a whole thing out of it. I didn't just go to the Ren Fair. I invited my editor, and her and I went to Disneyland. I got to hang out with a bunch of my friends in LA that I've known online but never gotten to meet in person. Like, obviously, Brizzy and Damien and Ethan and I have hung out briefly, but I haven't gotten to hang out at his place. I hadn't gotten to meet his dog, Spencer. Is there a hair in my eye? Please show a very cute video of Spencer while I fuck with my eye. Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously, Mara and I vlogged Disneyland. You need to watch that vlog if you haven't yet, because I don't need to talk about all of it in my favorites video, simply because everything I loved about it, I said in the vlog. Ren Fair was amazing because I was meeting a lot of Brizzy's friends for the first time, and I just felt welcomed with open arms, and I had such a good time just being a nerdy little slut for a day, and made a lot of friendships that I've just kind of been trying to nurture from afar ever since. Damien and Ethan saved a bird. We played video games on the couch and hung out in the jacuzzi and talked all night. It was like summer back in high school when you'd spend like all day at the pool with your friends. Then you'd like watch some cozy movies and just like sit around and talk for like hours. It felt like that. It was absolutely the coziest last minute vacation that I've ever needed. It was a reminder that I do have all these friends that don't just live in Austin, because I have great friends that I've made in Austin, but I work on the internet and I have these friendships that I want to nurture, not just the ones that are in Austin, but the ones that are all over the world, because I care about those people just as much as I care about my friends that are in the vicinity. Sometimes I feel like ADHD makes it hard for me to remember, like, hey, like, reach out to your other friends. I know that you're always reaching out to these friends because you always see them, but like, reach out to these people. Anyway, I love my friends. I'm grateful for all of them. The last thing on my list in April is espresso martinis. I don't know what happened, but something in my brain has made me only want to order that at any place that has fancy cocktails. I got one at the Drag Brunch in LA. It was amazing. There's this place here in Austin that I've gone to twice that has terrible service. Absolutely atrocious service, but the best food I've eaten in Austin. And also the best espresso martinis. And the first time I ate at that restaurant, I had an espresso martini, and that is the reason I've been ordering them everywhere, because I have hyperfixated on that espresso martini, and it's all I've wanted. I've wanted one that tasted as good as that one ever since. Anyway, I'm in constant search of one as good or better than that terrible restaurant, and I have yet to find it. But just know that if I'm at a fancy restaurant, I'm ordering espresso martini, no matter how early in the morning, how late at night it is. That's what I want. I really want one right now. It is 3:30 a.m. Oh my God. I need to fix my sleep schedule. All right. So now the question is, guys, do I have May faves? I do. Okay. I'm going to say this. I'm shocked that I do, because I got dumped in May. The first thing on my list in May favorites is getting dumped. But then getting back up. Obviously, it's not my favorite thing. It's not something I'm grateful for that I got dumped. But the reason it's on this list, I've learned a lot about myself after the breakup. It is just another reminder how goddamn resilient I am. And I don't give myself enough credit for shit like that. So I'm proud of myself for picking myself back up, because that shit was devastating for me. Now that we are a month once removed, I can clearly say that I am grateful for the relationship and grateful for the breakup. And that's all I'll say. Oh, that's such a bummer though, isn't it? I do remember now that I've looked lower on the list. Another reason that that is on my list is because the next thing on my list is I am grateful for my friends. I am grateful for my support system and my chosen family, because they have truly helped me. I know that I am a really strong person and I don't need to lean on people, but it is good too. It is the way that we as humans are built, we shouldn't be taking on all of this stuff alone. My friends really showed up after this breakup. If you've known me for a long time, but it took me until like being 25 or 26 to actually start creating friendships that were fulfilling, because I had a shitty upbringing. I didn't know how to do it. And I was undiagnosed autistic, but that's a whole other thing. But the reason that this is huge for me is because this is the first breakup that I've had this much of a support system. And because of that support system I created after my last major breakup, I was supported during this one. And I've never experienced that before. So I'm really grateful, again, for all my therapy, all my progress, all of the shit that I'm learning every day, and all the friendships that I am a part of and cultivating and growing. I'm grateful for the friends that showed up in the ways that they could, even if they couldn't physically be here. I had people reaching out to me all the time, texts, Twitter circles, Instagram, Discord. I am a very, very lucky beach. Okay, so a lot of the things on my list in May were things that I did to kind of get through the breakup, because May was my mourning. I mourned in May. In the morning, I'll rise. That's the next thing on my list, actually. In the Morning by Paramore. It's a song I didn't know existed, actually. Fun fact, I've been a Paramore fan since day one, and somehow I never heard that song. Until I saw an interview, Haley talking about that song, and she said, yeah, we wanted to play in the morning, and I did one of these. And I didn't know what she was referring to, so I looked up the song, and I discovered this song as I was mourning a relationship, which is like basically what that song's about. Anyway, great song. Great fucking song. Cult of the Lamb plus Gilmore Girls. I rediscovered Cult of the Lamb in May because they had added to the game. They added like a bunch of endgame stuff, but also they added a bunch of stuff that you could add to the cult as you're playing. So I started playing offline because the first gameplay that I had was connected to my old branding, which included my old name. And for some reason, I can't seem to remove it from the game, no matter what I try. I've even messaged the devs. I've even messaged Twitch because I wasn't sure if it was the integration with Twitch. Anyways, I just don't feel comfortable playing it on stream anymore. So offline, I was using it as a disassociation tactic when I was just feeling like my emotions were a little too much. I would watch Gilmore Girls on one monitor and played Cult of the Lamb on the other. And I did this for many nights after the breakup. And I'll say it, it felt really good. I don't recommend dissociation in general, but it was a good distraction, and it did feel good. Made brain go burr. The new stuff they added to Cult of the Lamb, really great. If you haven't played it yet, I would consider reinstalling the game, or if you haven't bought it ever, it's a fantastic game. I don't like roguelikes. I love Cult of the Lamb because there's enough content that's kind of like farming sim that, like, you know, you can go back and forth between the things that you have to do. It's very enjoyable. Try it out. In general, I've just been streaming more too. You know, when you're in a relationship, you want to hang out with that person. When you're not in a relationship, you have all this extra free time. So I've been streaming more. So that's on the list too. Also, I started going out alone. I go out and I hang out with my drag queen friends and my, downtown friends and my streamer friends who like to go out, and my IRL friends who I know from the queer community or from the Ren Fair, etc. I always wanted to have someone to cling on to downtown, like someone who I could ride with or someone that I could talk to if I felt uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. But right after this breakup, I pulled myself together and I took myself out, and it's great. Obviously, like, it helps that I have people downtown. I feel safe at all of my regular bars because people know me. I have relationships with, security, DJs, bartenders. I'm never, ever feeling unsafe in the situations I'm putting myself in. And it's empowering. It feels good to just go out and meet new people and, like, dance with new people and drink with new people, but feel safe because your security is there. And obviously I'm not like going downtown and only hanging out with new people. I usually am meeting up with someone, or seeing a drag show with people I know, etc. But it does feel really empowering to finally feel comfortable, safe enough, strong enough to go out on my own. I just feel like that's a big step in my life. I don't know. Oh my God, I saw Little Mermaid in May. Y'all, if you haven't seen the new Little Mermaid film, what are you doing? Y'all, don't judge it too soon based on some of the stuff that you've seen out of context, okay? I loved this movie. I bawled during Part of Your World. Okay, Hallie was meant to sing that song. She truly was. Scuttle is a girl. Scuttle is played by a woman, and it changes the dynamic completely in the best way possible. Really, truly, the only bad thing about this film is Melissa McCarthy's makeup. That's it. Everything else, fantastic. The song that they gave Prince Eric, and his singing voice, the chemistry between Prince Eric and Ariel. Oh my God. Great film. Fantastic film. I want to see it again. No, but straight up, like, if you guys were thinking that, hey, maybe this isn't for me, I was not originally planning on going, but I had a group of friends who bought out a whole row of tickets, and I decided to buy one of those tickets from a friend and go with them. And honestly, it blew me out of the water. Like, I want to see it again. I think I like it better than the original. I definitely like it better than the stage version. So go check it out. Oh my God. Okay. So the last thing on my favorites list for these last 3 months is a bit controversial to the anime fans. I avoided watching this for a while because I was like, you know what? Like, there's a huge possibility it's going to suck and it's going to bum me out. But there's a huge possibility that it is self-aware or that it's phenomenal. Who knows? I haven't finished it yet. That is my disclaimer. I'm still currently watching it. But towards the end of May, I started watching the live action Cowboy Bebop. And it's on my favorites list because without spoiling anything, no spoilers, you absolutely have to watch it with a grain of salt and just be down to have some fun. I personally thought the first episode was meh, but I'm glad I turned on the second episode because I really started having fun after the second episode. I love Cowboy Bebop, the original. You guys need to know that. I literally cosplayed as Faye before the pandemic. One of my favorite cosplays I ever did. But it's fun. The chemistry between the characters is really great. It's clear that they really had, like, the manga and or the anime, like, shot for shots in mind, because they really do be doing shot for shot for some stuff. Some of the combat is weird and clunky, but I also think it's on purpose because it's supposed to give anime. You know what I mean? Take it with a grain of salt, watch it to have fun. It's not the perfect live action, but considering how many bad live actions there are out there, it's definitely better than most. Guys, those are all my favorites. Every single time I finish filming a favorites video, I remember why I film them, why I make these lists, and why I urge you guys to make these lists. It feels good, man. It feels good to remind yourself of the shit that made you happy. It feels good to remind yourself of the shit that you were grateful for in the moment. Even the stuff that's hard to look back on. I'm also just happy to have this weight lifted off my shoulders and we can finally move on and I never have to bring up heartbreak again. Hopefully. Because hopefully that won't happen again in the future, right? Anyways, if you guys liked this video, please give it a like. And if you stayed for the whole video and you aren't already subscribed, what the heck are you doing? Consider subscribing. Maybe even hit that bell button if you want to get notified whenever I post new videos. Don't forget that you can follow me on all these other places because sometimes I can't get to my favorites videos on time, but you can see all these things happening live on Twitch or on Instagram or on Fanhouse or any of these places. Thank you guys for being a part of my healing journey, not just from breakups, but from everything. All the things. Thank you guys for being a part of my progress and my growth. And thanks for sharing what you guys share with me in the comment section below that you feel safe to share. I love that shit. Let me know some of your favorites so far from this month because I know it's too far back to remember all the other stuff. Unless you guys have been keeping lists, you can let me know. I'll see you guys on the YouTubes later. Let's be grateful for shit together, friends. Arr.